It's showtime.
Okay! Tokyo! South America! Australia! France! Germany! UK! Africa!
Here we go. Head On with Bob Kincaid. 3 hours of conversation, cussing, and a discussin' with America's only born and bred Southern liberal talk host. Head On with Bob Kincaid is brought to you each night by Coal River Mountain Watch. Coal River Mountain Watch invites you to become part of the solution, part of a sustainable future, part of the uprising against mountaintop removal. Coal River Mountain Watch, crmw.net. And now, from high in the hills of beautiful West Bicod, Virginia, here's Bob Kincaid on the Head On Radio Network.
Well, howdy. Midweek Crazy Train. This is The Horn. Headon.live is where you'll find us on the interweb tubes. That's where you go, among other things. But many of you know this. You don't if you're new to the program, though. That's why I have to say it. That's where you go. That's where you go if you'd like to be part of the midweek, merry, wacky, zany, multimedia extravaganza that is the Horn chat room during the 3 hours in which this program is live, Monday through Friday, 6 to 9 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, 3 to 6 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time. Hi, I'm Bob Kincaid. If you do so, you'll be greeted by the likes of Anatole and Dowhead and Squeaky, all of whom are early arrivers to the chat room. And more will be wandering along presently. Hi, I'm Bob Kincaid. And every program here at the Horn begins with gratitude, because unlike other programs that would deliver you to the tender mercies of various and sundry corporate products, that doesn't happen here. Oh no. Here, we keep things going because our community wants things to keep going. So thanks go out for this 25th day of the month, the 25th of September, to Tracy. Thanks go out to Kay, to Jim in Spain, and to Mark. Thank you. Thank you, all four of you, for being partial sponsors of the program and helping to make sure that independent, commercial-free, progressive broadcast conversation and content is available to anyone who wants it. So everything's working. Brother Deacon Asa tells me we're sizzling on both streams. That's good to know. And that means that this little midweek convocation is off and running. It is, of course, the middle of the week, and the middle of the week means prayer meeting Wednesday. And with that in mind, well, yes, we're the little old blue-haired ladies and the little old blue-haired men in the Cathedral of Common Sense Fellowship Hall are enjoying every sunny day that we have remaining, because September's almost gone, October will be here, and we'll be freezing our tuchuses off before we know it, and talking about counting days until the first day of spring. And so it was that the little old ladies fixed up a pot of angel hair pasta salad and sent the little old blue-haired men out to the grill to do hamburgers in the warm, early autumn sunlight. A few tomatoes left, sliced for the burgers. some onion rings, some fries. And yes, some strawberries, some yellow cake, and some vanilla ice cream. Rounded out a meal that saw the deacons lip-smacking merrily because they knew they had the night off. Yes, the deacons changed their centers of gravity. And so it was that their waddling and trundling up those 2 flights of stairs was a little bit more challenging than it usually is. But they made the 2-flight journey. And they set about smoking in the parking lot with the sinners, lighting one right off the next, paying little attention when Sister Carol Baker showed up at the vestibule door with the cathedral solar-powered cattle prod. But recognizing that at least certain forms must still be observed, they waddled again insouciantly through the vestibule. They continued waddling down the center aisle, and they plopped themselves in their proprietary seats on the front row of the cathedral here, where they have awaited the beginning of this evening's prayer meeting. And so, brethren and sisters, there will be no offertory hymn, no early altar call, no deacons moving about you with heavy brass-bound velvet-lined plates. No. Instead, brethren and sisters, I will simply remind you that I am indeed Archpope, Uber Rabbi, Ultimate Imam, Animated Animist, Antagonized, Agnostic, Vicarious, Vicar, Maximum, Metropolitan, Munificent Mullah, good-hearted Guru Bob Kincaid, and that this is indeed Prayer Meeting Wednesday on the Horn. Hut Sut Rilla on the Brawla Suet. Hut Sut Ralston on the Brawla Suet. And I love you. Amen and amen. But brethren and sisters, just because there was no altar call doesn't mean that we are not all called upon to pay attention in this wicked world. And if you check in with some of the practitioners of evangelical Christianity, brethren and sisters, you'll find out that one of the great evils stalking the world, well, it's not climate change. It's not war and pestilence and famine. It's a little 16-year-old Swedish girl. Because now the Christians are after her. I give you Doctor, who could not put on a Band-Aid without killing somebody, Robert Jeffress of the First Baptist Church of Dallas. Dr. Jeffress is a great big old dead-souled maggot. And he just doesn't like Greta Thunberg at all.
I just got back from the UN to hear our tremendous president give a blockbuster speech on religious liberty. I mean, it was absolutely tremendous. The only thing more fun than listening to him is listening to the liberals whine about that he had the audacity to skip the climate summit. And, you know, I tell people, Todd, all the time, I mean, this president is brilliant. I mean, he decides to skip attending a session on an imaginary crisis, climate change, and instead he chooses to lead his own conference on a very real problem, global persecution. I mean, Todd, what president can you think of in either party who would have the guts to snub the UN like that and stand up for what's right?
It's a fair point you raise, and this whole global warming, tree-hugging fiasco, I mean, there's just, again, nothing to it.
Nothing to it. Nothing at all. All those thousands of scientists, they're out just engaged. They're all participating in a giant conspiracy and yet they're keeping the secrets, and there's nothing to it. Nothing's happening. The hurricanes aren't getting worse. The spring floods aren't getting worse. The Maldives, the Seychelles, Pacific Islands aren't having a harder and harder time staying above water. And of course, the UN report that came out today that shows the oceans, every body of water on the planet is going to be profoundly impacted in coming years by climate change, and already are being. Okay? But these two clowns, Todd Starnes and Robert Jeffress, know more than every scientist on Earth put together when it comes to the workings of our little planet.
And as you point out, they may as well hold a commission hearing on the Tooth Fairy or Bigfoot. Sasquatch.
Yeah, and look, nobody's arguing. We ought to take care of the environment. I mean, Genesis 1 and 2, we need to cultivate the earth and keep it. But God said He created the environment to serve us.
Time out. We need to cultivate the earth. You know what that verse in Genesis really means? That's talking about sedentary agricultural humanity versus hunter-gatherer humanities. That's what that's about. Because hunter-gatherers, in large part, did not cultivate the earth. That's why it's called hunting and, gathering. It's not hunting and farming. Farming is the cultivating part. But that's way too deep for Robert Jeffress because, if his brains were gas, he wouldn't have enough to fill up a Pissant's motorcycle and run it halfway around a BB.
Not for us to serve the environment. And look, this Greta Thunberg, the 16-year-old, she was warning today about the mass extinction of humanity. Somebody needs to read poor Greta Genesis chapter 9 and tell her next time she worries about global warming, just look at a rainbow. That's God's promise that the polar ice caps aren't going to melt and flood the world again.
Yeah, the rainbow. Never mind the fact that the polar ice caps, the ice cap at the North Pole has melted. It's indisputable that there is periodically a Northwest Passage now, something that was sought by Robert Jeffress's white colonialist ancestors in centuries past and did not exist because it stayed frozen to some extent or another all year long. Now it doesn't. But yes, Robert Jeffress actually believes that a phenomenon in the sky, which is made, which simply means that it's rained, because there are water droplets suspended in air. Suspended in air? How can that be? Them little water droplets ain't got no wings. Every rainbow is a miracle. No, really. They're like that. They believe that shit. They take advice on meteorology and climatology from a book written by people who stared in slack-jawed wonder at their first wheelbarrows. Whatever could it be? People who literally did not understand why it rained explained that a rainbow means God will never flood the earth again, even though those people had no direct knowledge of it. Jesus Christ! Somebody, God, don't. But this is how we go. This is how we move toward an extinction level event. Yeah. Rainbows. Note coming in from Kyle in Kentucky Stan. The evangelicals are always saying how we should love everyone, especially the least of us, children, the poor, etc. They sure have an awfully strange way of showing that love. Oh, they do. They do. I saw some creeper on social media earlier today who was being quoted disapprovingly, who had said, if you take Greta Thunberg seriously because she's 16, you must also think that it was okay for Jeffrey Epstein to fuck 16-year-olds. Behold the workings of the white wing mind. A human being actually said that and did not say so sarcastically. I know. Kind of breathtaking, isn't it? But that's where we are. And the attacks on Greta have been relentless, especially in the last week. And that is, I mean, it's filthy. It's low down and dirty. But it was explained by Christian Christensen, a professor of journalism at Stockholm University. Professor Christensen wrote, pollen. These attacks have become an industry supposedly rooted in a worldview that worships rights and individual freedoms, but in actual fact is rooted in a hatred of activism, principle, and dedication. These three elements stand in stark contrast to the values and tactics of those who wish to smear Thunberg and her contemporaries, namely lies, obfuscation, and denigration. What scares those who attack Thunberg and the Parkland survivors is not so much the message, but the poise, presence, and visibility of young citizens unfazed by their older, jaded, cynical opponents. They are dangerous because they exist and persist. Among the other talking points that have been blathered is the idea that somehow Greta Thunberg is exploited. I saw one post today that said, well, see, her great-great-grandfather was a Freemason. See? Freemasons. More than you know. I wish I was kidding. But it's happening. Over at that website that rhymes with light and fart, a guy named John Nolte said that someone should spank Greta Thunberg and coined a term for people who respect the young woman's drive and persistence and dedication, calling them Gretards. This same creepy fuck called David Hogg, a survivor of Parkland, a mean-spirited little zealot in over his head. Yeah. Meanwhile, a guy named Logan Cook, and Logan Cook, for some reason, is somebody that Donald Trump likes. He put out an edited video of Thunberg's United Nations speech with an accompanying audio track of Hitler speaking. Yeah, that Hitler. I mean, really, there's not a lot of them, but yeah. And all of this in defense of an economy that is centered on a hydrocarbon fossil fuel extraction industry. Just a second. And that fossil fuel extraction industry, well, they've known about climate change for a couple of generations and covered it up. Because to them, money is more important than the ability of humanity to survive as a species. Steve in New York writes, a rainbow? What the fuck? Seriously? The interpretation of the Bible has no real tradition? Again, why not just ask Jews what their book means? Bob, I refuse to believe that this level of ignorance, stupid, and nitwittery actually exists. They have to be saying this shit because someone is lining their pockets to do so. Well, no, their pockets get lined, Steve, but yeah, they believe it. They do. Upton Sinclair, wasn't it? It's hard to get a man to understand something when his paycheck depends on him not understanding it. That's where, but yeah. I mean, if you were actually going to get Robert Jeffress to confess what a vile little huckster and con man he is, you'd have to dose him to the gills with I don't know, sodium pentothal or something. Hold on a sec, Bob, says Scott in San Diego. I thought that when you see a rainbow, it indicates the presence of a gay-friendly business. Well, see, your mind's been perverted by the gay agenda. Megan, meanwhile, says, listening to that drivel makes me realize what Superman's parents felt right before they shuttled their infant into a space capsule and Krypton was devoured by its own son. That's worthy. It's existentially painful to watch stupid tear us apart as is presently happening. Scott pointing out, Greta's grandpappy was an alien lizard-brained shape-shifting Freemason. Well, of course. Epstein and Greta. Steve writes, I refuse to think these people actually think this shit. I just do. How can these people actually in public say these things about a 16-year-old girl? You know what? I blame Trump. I 100% do. The fucker has made this acceptable. In better times, decent people would find these fuckers and beat the crap out of them. How else do you handle people like this? Come to think of it. But again, just a gentle reminder, Trump is a symptom. He is not the disease. And we need to be cognizant of that. lest we screw ourselves. Kyle says, so let me get this straight. Because a 16-year-old girl is smarter than a white winger, that white winger thinks it's okay for old men to go around raping and sexually abusing teenage girls? Ah, God damn it, I hate these fuckers. Sorry, that was me screaming for not biting on the hockey puck hard enough. That's on me for not delivering the hockey puck warning. I'm not trying to run anybody away or anything, but just please bear in mind, I don't say things here for shock value or really even for entertainment value. This stuff is too serious to simply be done for entertainment purposes. However weird yesterday was, today has been weirder. And however weird today is, tomorrow will be weirder. And however weird this week was, next week will be weirder. It's not going to get any easier or better or more approaching something that we would recognize as normal from now all the way to either January the 20th, 2021, or, dare I say it, January the 20th, 2025. There's no sense pissing and moaning about it. It just happens to be the world that we all were born into. Other generations got other challenges. We get to live in the era in which humanity's big primate brains may finally prove our undoing. It's just how it is where we are. And I realize there may be some folks who think, well, Bob, why aren't you talking about the transcript, the memorandum? Oh, we will. But the only reason that's a thing is because of this underlying subcurrent of stupidity that has brought us to this day. And, well, everything is part of it. Jimmy in the Great Northwest saying, as to rude assholes, don't be surprised if you hear about that Knowles guy getting beat down. Well, I gotta say, I would not shed much in the way of tears. Kyle responding to Scott's comment about rainbows and gay businesses. In response to Scott's comments about rainbows indicating gay-friendly business, I would like to claim 0.0000001% of the responsibility for brainwashing him into going along with the gay agenda. Well, you're, I guess, to be congratulated, as are all the other LGBTQ members of the Horn Family Community Congregation. Keep it up. Y'all are doing a great job. And yeah, cowbell for that. In regard to me saying that Trump is a symptom and not the disease, Brother Deacon Asa asks, which type of carcinoma has symptoms that emit greasy, pus-filled orange ooze? Ooh. Apologies to the Eastern Daylight Time Zone dinner crowd. You chose to tune in after all. It's on you. Don't run off the live the live portion of the congregation, Brother Deacon Asa. Brother deacons aren't supposed to do that. But as to your description there, we don't call him Chlamydia Claudius for nothing. Or perhaps we can add to that, since we've already gone after the Eastern Daylight Time Zone dinner hour, Discharge Donnie. Ew. That one's mine. What to feel, says Steve in New York. I don't know what to think about these people other than anger, embarrassment, and shame. Well, if you want to ratchet it up to fury, that's okay, too. Because, see, we used to have this concept, and it was part of the largely agreed-upon social contract, that your rights end where my nose begins. Well, that's over. Because the maggots, roughly 1/3 of the voting population of this country, believe that their rights extend up our nose, around our brains, down our gullets, and out our asses. Because this is their world. And, well, we're just living in it. And there's lots and lots of examples of that. Now, to sort of get with the program and deal with what has been the big deal du jour, namely the release of the memorandum. And imagine releasing this and thinking that it makes things look better for Trump. I've read it. You've read it, I presume. It makes things look, well, worse for Trump. They certainly don't look good. It makes him look like a two-bit tin horn mob boss wannabe. And it's largely consumed the news cycle today. But it might be beneficial to know what it is that the other side, the maggots, what it is that they think the issues of the day are. Because this is, well, precious Princess Lindsey Graham has even referred to it as such, a Ukrainian nothing burger. I don't know how they got to him for comment. They must have sent in one of those robots they use for, the remote control robot for, like, going deep into tiny spaces looking for bombs and stuff like. They must have used one of those to get way, way, way back underneath the fainting couch down at the ancestral estate of smoldering chode to get the comment. No, not really, because they found him. They got him all the way onto a TV set because he won't talk to. He'll only talk to Fox News TV, Radio Rwanda these days. But what are they worried about over on the white wing side of our national dialogue? Let's check in with the firefighter prophet, Mark Taylor, who is absolutely obsessed still with things that happen only in his own swampy, fetid, perfervid imaginations. Here he is, talking to someone from something called the Daily Renegade, giving free rein to his wild imaginings.
In 2015, I prophesied two prophecies 1 month apart. One was called "Time is Up for Those Who Are Corrupt," that the Clintons were going to go down, and Bill Clinton would be held accountable, so would Hillary. And that the next prophecy after that, a month later, I prophesied that President Obama would be ripped and stripped of the presidency. Now, how do you rip a president of the title called president. The only way I know of is to be charged with treason, and you go to prison. You're ripped and stripped of the title of presidency. Now,
yeah, which doesn't happen. I mean, it could happen with impeachment. But here's the thing. This particular recording took place not in 2015 or not in 2016, but rather it happened 3 days ago on the 22nd day of September 2019. Barack Obama was not ripped and stripped, although if you ever saw the pictures of him playing basketball, he looks kind of ripped. He got a good six-pack going there. Good abs. But no, he made it all the way through his 2 terms in office and did so without any major scandals, except for the ones that, again, exist in the thin gray settlings that slosh around between the ears of white-wing religious maniacs like Mark Taylor. So I didn't want you to think I was playing you an old clip or anything. No.
Q has spoken that he would claim Kenyan citizenship to get out of being prosecuted and executed, and for treason, because this guy's committed so many treasonous acts. This guy's the biggest fraud in American history. He wasn't even born here, and so I personally hope
he checked off the birther box.
Does claim Kenyan citizenship, because the second he does, he's ripped and stripped of the presidency. Right there. There it is.
Yeah.
Everything he's ever done, all those executive orders, all the judges, including the Supreme Court, are null and void.
No, they're not. What he's talking about is damnatio memoriae, but Mark Taylor is entirely too stupid to know that term. And curiously, what he's describing is what Donald Trump has been trying to do since he took office on January 20th of 2017. Anything that had Barack Obama's name on it, they've been trying to eradicate. But yeah, we're in a time of political upheaval. The presidency is essentially a nasty little pissy graft operation, grifting. And these two weird millennial white dudes are mutually masturbating each other at the prospect of finally proving that the Kenyan Muslim usurper was never really president.
At that point.
Oh my gosh.
That's the stuff that people don't think about. So if he claims Kenyan citizenship, he's admitting he was a fraud, and everything he ever did is done. Over. Period. So, will he be executed? I don't know. I can just tell you what I personally think, but I'm not even going to go there. I think at some point, you're going to see.
Notice the host there, who has said, does manage to chuckle at the idea of Barack Obama being executed. I mean, and I'm just telling you, in the video of this, you can't see either one of them's hands.
Well, here's the other thing. Q has said this. You're going to see suicides. You're going to see executions. You're going to see people going to prison for the rest of their life at Gitmo. I kind of got off on a rabbit trail here, but that's all right. People have, justice is not.
Why lay it off on the rabbits?
Coming. Justice is here. And if you don't have a stomach for justice, you better get one quick, because justice can get ugly sometimes. And it's with the executions it can get ugly sometimes. Like John McCain was executed. We know that. He had a military tribunal. He was executed.
No, we don't know that. That's just what the acid told him when Mark Taylor took the bad acid. But it's good to find out, to remind ourselves of what the maggots are obsessing about while the rest of us are busily dealing with reality. I mean, I said however weird yesterday was, it wouldn't be as weird as today, and however weird today is, it will not be as weird as tomorrow. But that's a weird reality. This guy, I don't know, I guess he's getting messages from Q through the fillings in his fucking teeth. Or maybe he's got a flashlight that's downloading satellite images and communications from Q. Maybe Q's aboard a satellite, just sort of zipping around the planet in geosynchronous orbit. These are people who run these hustles because there are a lot of people who participate in them. Now, maybe they've never heard of Mark Taylor at the bumfuck Iowa steak fry. And I'm sure that it would be just embarrassing for any of the multimillionaires in the for-profit media to ever even acknowledge that these creeps exist. But how do you think societies fall apart? They don't fall apart because the entire culture says, fuck it. They fall apart because the quantum of stupidity in the society rises to a sufficient level that it cannot be buoyed along by the remainder any longer.
So, I mean, he didn't have cancer. That was his exit strategy, to try to save his reputation, whatever reputation he had, which wasn't much.
Yeah.
So, I mean, but there was a sign given, a prophetic sign given. I'm just going to leave the people with this. There was a prophetic sign given. The racehorse called Barack Obama was euthanized. So I'm just going to leave that prophetic sign right there. Now, we may never know that he's been executed or some of these people have been executed. We just may have their exit strategy. Maybe they come down with this funky disease, and then we no longer see them anymore.
So there's not going to be necessarily any proof, but they believe it in their damaged brains, so therefore it must be true. It's just like the rainbows. Now, on the other hand, I mentioned the inability of the rest of us to maintain something resembling civilization in the face of manifest stupidity on the part of others, on the part of a noisy plurality in this country. Well, there's a little something. Well, I don't know. Maybe we could start a community pool on that, Monique. Monique asking, I don't blame Trump for these people. These are grown-ass adults. What scares me is they raised or are raising kids and grandkids who have to listen to their stupidity and filth. Are they all on angel dust, PCP? How long till they start gnawing on their own arms and legs on TV? I wish it was that easy. Unfortunately, well, it isn't. But well, I had there's this. We've been talking some about anti-vaxxers. And here we go again. Despite the fact that there is no mainline recognized religious organization that recommends against vaccination, these are mostly charismatic, Protestant, evangelical cults. And by that I include people like Kenneth Copeland and was it his daughter that got an outbreak going real good in Texas? Well, down in North Carolina, there's a measles outbreak. They're scared to death of a massive one getting going in California or Wisconsin. But North Carolina's got one going on right now. And in North Carolina, there's also a rising number of people who are refusing to vaccinate their children. Let's check in with ABC 11I team, the troubleshooter. Okay?
Be one nation under God, but religion, at least on paper, is becoming more of a factor in American families saying no thanks to immunizations for all. The I-Team obtaining kindergarten vaccination rates across all North Carolina public, private, and parochial schools since 2011. In the Triangle specifically, the number of medical exemptions are up. The number of religious exemptions are up. And generally, so is the overall percentage of children without the vaccines that prevent diseases like the measles.
What's really significant to me about that is the idea that there are parents out there who are now concerned about something that has been doctrined for so long.
Medical exemptions aside, vaccinating children is a parent's choice. A choice that pediatrician Dr. Gabriela Maradiaga says looks more like a luxury to a new generation of parents with no memory of polio, measles, or smallpox.
People who lived through these diseases that killed their children were so desperate for the vaccines, they wouldn't have dreamed of refusing them.
The measles, unfortunately, making a comeback in the United States and in North Carolina. The CDC reporting more than 1,200 confirmed cases in 31 states since January, the most in more than 25 years. The majority of these cases linked to outbreaks in New York. North Carolina's outbreak limited to just 3, and they were all in Johnston County. The law in North Carolina is actually very clear. Every student attending a public, private, or parochial school has to be either immunized or exempt, or they're turned away from the classroom. Where North Carolina law loses its teeth is verification. A religious exemption does not need proof of membership to a church or other house of worship. It doesn't need a signature from a priest or any member of the clergy, and it doesn't even need a lawyer. The General Assembly's last attempt to change those rules coming in 2015 and stalling after a lengthy and loud protest. Senator Mike Woodard of Durham is on the Senate Healthcare Committee.
We have to balance the well-documented, scientifically based public health needs with families' religious preferences.
No, we don't. If a priest won't sign off on it, if a deacon won't sign off on it, if no major religious group has a doctrine on it, then you're just letting stupidity hide behind the lace skirts of the First Amendment. And there is not, I repeat, there is not a constitutional right to be stupid. There's not a constitutional right to put your neighbors at risk because you choose to be at risk. That doesn't exist. There's no right to set your house on fire and leave it to and say, well, if the flames spread to my neighbors, they should probably be glad their house caught on fire too. Confirmed cases of measles are up around 1,241. My God. And the thing is, as we were discussing in, say, California and Wisconsin, North Carolina has fallen below herd immunity. At present, in Cumberland, Durham, and Wake counties, hi, Ron, the immunity rates are at 93.8%, 93.3%, and 94.1%, and falling. And falling. And, of course, because Republicans run North Carolina, even though they could not get a majority of votes, they have majority control of the government. They're not willing to stand up to the religious maniacs who are willing to let their children get sick and get other children sick too. And so this is a concrete example of what I said about what happens to a society where the weight, the power of intelligent people becomes no longer able to carry the crushing weight of stupidity. And that way lies madness. What's that? Brother Usher Steve says, $1 million donation to the Horn. I'm going to get in on the grift like the fireman prophet. I'm going to have my own talk show, YouTube channel, or whatever, and I'm going to just get on there and say stupid shit, prophesy about stuff, and then tell people that my prophesying came true. I'll tell people the fact that there's no proof is proof that it actually came true. Once I make a shitload of money, I'd like to give the Horn $1 million. Will you take it? We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Yeah, Scott in San Diego. Am I missing something, Bob? Is that an audio from the archives, or has Obama recently claimed Kenyan citizenship? No, that's what I told you. No. I probably already know the answer. It's neither. What it is the mad ramblings of an entirely disorganized mind in the skull of a religious fanatic. Well, you say fanatic, I say maniac, but never mind acid, angel dust, or any other street drug you care to name. This poor bastard is obviously under the influence of one of the CIA's most secret and potent personality-shifting weaponized drugs ever. Yeah, he is, but the CIA didn't come up with it, Scott. It's called religion. Jesus. It's a rough night. I should probably be ashamed. It's a rough night for Kyle in Kentucky, Stan. If I started talking about how Q and other non-existent people and sky beings and who the fuck knows what else were sending me messages and calling myself a prophet based on that, my family would immediately call a psychiatrist and get me help. How this happened yet for this guy, well, I'll tell you how it hasn't happened. It's like the old joke in Annie Hall about the woman who goes to a psychiatrist and says, my husband thinks he's a chicken. The psychiatrist says, I'm probably telling it wrong. The psychiatrist says, well, he's not a chicken. Why didn't you do something sooner? And she said, well, we needed the eggs. That's why nobody's locking up Mark Taylor, the firefighter prophet. It's working. And the eggs are good. Kyle continues, of course that Nazi son of a bitch had a wet dream about killing the first black president. Of course he did. Bob, next time give a hockey puck warning before you play shit like that. I'm fixing to get the neighbors all bent out of shape from screaming so loud. I understand. Steve, on the other hand, in New York, says, I don't care if the goddamn Pope, Dalai Lama, Grand Poobah, or the high exalted Pastafarian signs your exemption. You can't go to public school, period. And then, of course, that becomes a talking point against the... And remember, Republicans don't refer to them as public schools. Republicans refer to them as government schools, where they indoctrinate our precious children to go along with the government, and they're not praying, and they're secular humanism. Subject line, we've got trouble. Ron in Raleigh says, Wake County has 60 people a day moving here, so that means the immunization level falls even more rapidly. I say if you send your unvaccinated spawn to school and someone else's children get sick or even die, I say throw their asses in jail for child abuse. Okay, but I think the smarter money would be on take their kids, vaccinate the kids, and charge the parents with child neglect for not getting them vaccinated. There's video out there of children receiving the polio vaccine. The piece from Team Eyewitness News Action Coverage 11 included some of it. Parents were clamoring for the vaccine because polio was a horror. Remember, please, that Addison McConnell, born in Sheffield, Alabama, about 8 miles from where I grew up, Addison McConnell had polio. And thanks to the March of Dimes, a charity that was propelled by Franklin Delano Roosevelt, he received treatment so that the effects of his polio might not be so profound. And then he grew up and became a senator from Kentucky and shit on every other human being similarly situated that he could possibly reach. Flavio, subject line anti-vaxxers, says, not to sound elitist or eugenicist-like, I'm neither, but the thought of a society being forced to advance at the pace of its stupidest members is terrifying to me. I suppose so, Flavio, but thus has it ever been. You know, weakest link and all of that. But an enlightened society works to make a way for such people to be included in that society. Whereas this bunch has risen to a point where they are insisting upon their right not to be included, but rather to be determinative of what the society does. And it's the same religious hobgoblin that you get out of the homophobic right wing as well. We just want to be religiously free to not have to bake no goddamn cupcakes for no goddamn homosexual weddings. But we do want to be free to use our Christian values to sell guns and bullets to people who shoot up movie theaters, and we don't want anybody to say anything bad about us when we do. Jimmy, meanwhile, says, unvaccinated children, who pays for the medical care? Good question. David in South Carolina Stan says, Vlad's plan is working. All of this is a dream scenario for the Kremlin. America in turmoil. Ukraine alienates the Democrats by caving into Trump. and the Republicans for playing part in Trump's impeachment, Ukraine becomes synonymous with U.S. election interference instead of Russia. And meanwhile, the nasty little trolls and bots are hard at work fostering what? Yes, anti-vaxxerism. Meanwhile, in Montgomery County, Maryland, there's a gospel hustle called the Iglesia Pentecostal Principe de Paz. Is it Principe or Principe? The Pentecostal Church, Prince of Peace, Gaithersburg. We've got an old friend of long standing, dear friend, there in Montgomery County. Octavio Cantorero is a preacher at Iglesia Pentecostal Principe de Paz. And a young girl came along, and she was in crisis. And Brother Cantorero told her that she could stay at a room inside the church. And somehow or another, because Jesus, I guess, at some point in time, Pastor Brother Minister Octavio Cantorero wound up in the same bed with her. Mm-hmm. And, well, the girl told the police, but she also told the police that Brother Cantorero, follower of the Principe de Paz, told her she shouldn't tell anybody about what he did. It went down like this. During the night, the victim woke up to Cantorero attempting to rape her. The victim resisted. Cantorero asked the victim not to tell anyone about the incident and that he could help pay for her clothes, rent, and school. And then he said, your demons provoked me. So there he is, a servant of Christ. But doggone it, Satan's demons were more powerful than Jesus. And so the demons that the girl had, notice it's always the girl who has the demons. Brother Octavio Cantorero, he didn't have any demons, but she did. And that, well, that made him get all rapey. So the cops were not able to catch the demons, but they did catch Brother Pastor Minister Cantorero, and he's facing second-degree rape charges among a few others. Because God is love, y'all. Mm-hmm. You know, there's ruining dinner and there's ruining dinner, and that one goes out to the to the supper table in the Central Daylight Time Zone. But it's not always in places like, you know, Montgomery County, Maryland, or anti-vaxxers in North Carolina. Nope. Over 600 of those measles cases, of course, came out of the ultra-Orthodox Jewish community in New York. Because Christians do not have a lock on religious stupidity. Well, early this month, up in New York City, health authorities there reported a brand new case, the first since March 2017, a brand new case of neonatal herpes. neonatal herpes. It was reported, of course, in a little baby boy born to ultra-Orthodox Jewish parents who, of course, had to have his penis ritually mutilated, or else God wouldn't like them good, I guess. So they hired, because they're ultra-Orthodox, they hired a mohel who came along and, because they're ultra-Orthodox, performed the procedure known as Metzitza B'Peh. And what that practice is sucking the blood from a just circumcised little boy's penis by the mohel, the rabbi. Unfortunately, the mohel had been gifted by God with herpes. And so now the little baby boy gets to start life with A, a ritually mutilated penis, and B, a whopping case of herpes. 10 days after the procedure, the little baby developed a rash on his little genitals and his little groin and on his buttocks. And the parents were stupid, and they had no idea that the rash on the baby's little genitals and groin and buttocks were herpes, neonatal herpes. And so they waited a while before they took baby to the doctor. And in New York City, the cultural capital of the United States of America, the financial center of the world, home of skyscrapers and bridges and statues and museums, they are still so cowed by the religion industry that they can't just outright ban full-grown men sucking the teeny tiny penises of newborn baby boys. And you know it's political cowardice, and the way you can figure this out is to say, hey, if an atheist couple hired some guy to come and come and ritually mutilate their newborn baby boy's penis and then suck the blood out of it, the cops would be on the doorstep 15 minutes before it happened. But working with the overarching theme that we as a society, as a culture, are carrying a millstone around our neck, and that millstone is religion. And it may eventually just completely draw us prone to the earth, unable to move at all. You get this. And by the way, little newborn baby boys who got herpes by having their little penises blood sucked out of it after being ritually mutilated have also died. And curiously, the all-powerful, almighty creator of the universe didn't step in to say, hey, I mean, these are the rules that I gave them. I mean, it's a covenant between us and them. between me and them. I mean, there's no us. I mean, it's just me. There's no Jesus and Holy Spirit over here. It's just me. It's a covenant between me and them. We've been doing it for a long time. We've been slashing and chomping penises for a good 4,000 years. You're healed. Nope. Little kids died. I mean, hey, Yahweh, couldn't you at least make the herpes go away? Or, hey, wait a minute. You're the all-powerful creator of the universe, knows all, tells all, great big bearded juvenile delinquent in the sky and all that shit. How's about you cure the fucking moil? I mean, if you really want grown men sucking on little boys' penises, how about at least curing their herpes before you send them to the house? God almighty. Oh, okay. Well, I've got my religious terminology mixed up. I thought a moil was a kind of a rabbi, but no. Lee letting me know a moil and a rabbi are separate jobs. You can be one or the other, but not both. Okay. Who knew that there were union shop rules for things like that? What's that, Clarity? Exorcismo con padres chorizo. I have a feeling that's gonna translate as something dirty. But then, yes, slashing and slurping. Slashing and slurping. I'm doing a really terrible job with the whole hockey puck warning thing tonight, and I apologize for that. As to Gaithersburg, Maryland, Scott in San Diego says, "Move along, nothing to see here, Bob. The brother was merely ministering to the poor girl, laying on of dick, I think they call it. He just wanted her to see God." Hey, Bob, says Ron in Raleigh, I went to college with a guy who was absent from school the day they passed out the sugar cubes. Guess what he came down with? Polio. He didn't have to be in an iron lung, just had to use crutches and wear braces. It's real. And by the way, the reminder that the building that stored all the deadly viruses and shit in Russia that blew up a couple of weeks ago. Subject line polio. Lee in New York says, anti-vaxxer argument. FDR had polio. Did it stop him? No, he became POTUS. Oh, God, I wish you weren't so good at channeling that kind of stuff. So I guess we'll sort of bring a not a halt or an end or anything, but we'll pause the filibobster long enough to check in with Tracy. Hey, Tracy, screaming yet?
What?
Just can't.
Well, see, what had happened was I've been screaming because, see, I knew you were getting ready for the show. I called you, but because I woke up, I had this horrible thing that I've been waking up really early. Well, this morning I topped myself. Guess what time I woke up this morning, Bob?
3?
Throw out a number.
3.
No, because that's the time I bet, that's what time I have been waking up. I said I topped myself this morning.
Oh no, you didn't even make it.
No.
You didn't make it to 2:30, did you?
No, I did not. 2 o'clock. I woke up at 2 o'clock this morning.
Is it time to maybe check on some melatonin?
I don't know. Maybe I just have something on my. Well, I do have something happening in my brain because what had happened was my mom decided, because my mom is going to be 70 in November. And so she decided that she's coming to LA for her birthday. And because she's coming to LA for her birthday, that means I am now not obligated, because of course I want to do this because it's my mom. And even though we have, and you guys know my situation with my mom, well, it's weird.
It can be complicated.
It's a complicated relationship at best. But the bottom line is, I love my mom. And I'm the oldest of 5, so, 70th birthdays do not come around often. And so what that means is birthday party, because, it's my mom. So I'm going to throw her a birthday party, which also involves, the only thing my mom wants for her birthday is for all 5 of her children to be in one place at one time. Because the last time all 5 of us were together was 7 years ago. And so now the good news is 3 out of 5 are on the West Coast. My baby brother just moved here from down here from San Francisco, because the girlfriend said, I'm tired of the bullshit, motherfuckers need to bring your ass back down to LA, that part. My sister lives in Portland, and, as we all know, she's a flight attendant and she's married to the Trump supporter.
Yes.
So that's no big deal for her to come down. And my brother that's right under me, Solomon, the one who lives in Atlanta, he's down for the cause. Now the asshole, the middle brother, the one that, who's I don't even know if he's a hotep, or I don't know if
No. You do not have a hotep brother.
Well, I don't know if it's a hotep or the new Israelite. I don't know what the fuck I can call him. It's
the biker stuff with the black leather and the studs and all of that. I mean,
oh, Ginger, please, that part. See, I have to say Ginger, please on the show, but I don't say when I'm with my sister and my other siblings. That's not what I say. You can best believe.
You might get a kick out of this. I was down at the Rippy Mart earlier today, and they've got the scratcher games, because everywhere scratcher games.
Right.
And for the coming Halloween holiday season, there's a new scratcher game out called Witch Please.
Yeah, that's good. So my sister and I. So what happened was, before I decided to have the party, I had to talk to the wife, because 2 weeks before the party, because my mom's birthday is actually November the 7th. She's coming out on November the 6th. And she's leaving on the 13th, the day before the party. I mean, the day before her birthday, actually. So I had to talk to Jan to get, not so much permission, but, like I said, we're having this Halloween party on the 26th of October. And I said to Jan, well, how do you feel about having this party? I said, well, the only way we'll have it is if my sister Rachel decides, says she's going to kick in to help me pay for this, because I'm like, we're going to still be recovering from this other party. And Jan's like, okay, that's fine. So I called Rachel, and Rachel's like, sure, no problem. And so I'm like, okay. And then I said, well, how about Mark, how are we going to convince Marcus? Because part of his religion, they don't celebrate birthdays. I'm like,
really?
Ginger, please. That part. So I think that's probably why because I texted him yesterday after I talked to Rachel.
Okay, so you're not coming out to celebrate our mother's birthday. You're coming out to honor her because you love her. Don't do this.
Well, see, I haven't talked to him yet because, I texted his happy black ass yesterday. And I said, please call me, preferably when Mama's not around, because he lives with my mom, because he's burnt all the bridges with everybody else. That's a whole nother conversation.
Oh, man. So, that part. But Edie Hughes,
So he hasn't called me yet because he's kind of broke busted and all that other bullshit. But anywho, Rachel's going to get him. That was another reason I had to talk to Rachel as well, to see about her getting him a buddy pass to bring his black ass out here to LA. So the only thing, like I said, my mom wants for her birthday is all 5 of her kids in one spot. So I wanted to surprise her by having my 2 brothers that are on the East Coast fly out here for her birthday. That's all she cares about.
Wait,
So,
okay. I'm just gonna ask something.
Go ahead.
And I'm not being disrespectful to Mama or anything. Does Mama enjoy conflict?
Well, see, it's not going to be conflict. No, she does not. No.
I mean, just a couple.
No.
A couple of
She's
things.
not my mother is not a drama queen. No.
So a couple
a
couple of things that you've kind of put out there. It's like it's not going to be Tracy's family's impression of the Red Wedding or anything, right? I mean.
No. It's not going to be like that. No. Here's the funny part. So when I talked to her yesterday, and I said, okay. Because, my family is family, and there's always going to be something. There's always going to be bullshit. There's always going to be bullshit. So when I called her yesterday and said, I said, okay, it's down. We're going to have a party for you for your birthday. I said, when she initially said she was going to come out, Jan and I were like, okay, let's just go to San Diego for your birthday and all that. And she was down for it, but then she's like, but I really want to spend time with my family. And then I said, okay, let's go do brunch, because this is really awesome. There's the Hilton, the Universal Hilton, Bob has a brunch that will make you slap your mama. But
and your mama's going to be there.
Right, but I can't slap her, even though there's been times that I want to slap her. And I know there's been plenty of times she wanted to slap me. Another conversation. But the problem is it's kind of pricey, and motherfuckers be broke. So that would leave out other people. So that's why I'm like, fuck it. That, we just got to have a party. And so that part. So that's why we decided to have the party. So anyway, when I called her, and she knows how I feel about a lot of my family, they get on my nerves. So I called her the other day. I said, okay, Mom, who do you want me to call and invite to the house? And she's like, well, she goes, well, I know these people get on your nerves. I said, look, it's one day. It's your 70th birthday. I have I have a ton of anti-anxiety medication. I will be fine. And you know what her response was? Do you have extra? Because she knows.
Yeah.
She knows. She knows. My family is extra, Bob. I mean, just my mom's 2 younger sisters are extra. Or, because mental illness runs rampant in my family, okay, to the point I am the only one in my family that has acknowledged that I have a mental illness, okay? And I have taken huge steps to take care of my issues with, therapy, medication, so forth and so on. Those other 2 bitches, not so much. So they're on top of the fact, they self-medicated and all sorts of shit. Just nut bags. That's the medical diagnosis. Nut bags. So it's like just extra. So, and I just kind of don't hang out with Bill, but they're my mom's sisters. So this is what we do. So I think that's probably why I woke up this morning at 2:00, because I know what's going to happen. I mean, it's like I said, it's going to be fine. I have 2 months to get myself ready for this shit, but bottom line is, after everything is said and done, it's going to be fun. but I'm going to be smart about this. I'm going to have, it's going to start in the daytime, and I'm going to put a time limit on this shit. Motherfucker's going to be gone by 8 o'clock, you know, because I'm like, y'all ain't going to be at my house all night. That part. I don't care if you want to hang out later on, you don't have to go home, but just get the fuck out of here. But anywho, it's like I said, family is family, and it's just, you just have to deal with the crazy. And like I said, I will have either, what do I take, Ativan or Valium or whatever I can find in my medicine cabinet.
Go to a compounding pharmacy, get them to put it into blowgun darts, and get a discreet little purse-sized blowgun. And
Thorazine darts for everybody. That's it. Oh, speaking of Thorazine darts, so I was talking to Jan. Now this is the best part. Yo, let's go, stupid.
Yeah, that was you. I heard the horn.
So I was telling Jan about about the guest count, because we're talking probably about 50 people. So we're going to have to rent tables and chairs, right? So that's about, you know, at least 40 or so black folks. And the look on Jan's face, and she goes, this might be the weekend that I go visit my brother.
Oh, but that'd leave you too much explaining to do.
No. Actually, no. Here's the funny part. So when I was talking to my mom about it, Jan said that yesterday afternoon or so, right? So when I was talking to my mom, because my mom knows my wife so well, so I was talking to my mom this morning, and so I said, you know what, Jan, because when my mom, there's other people that my mom was mentioning, and you know, how you start hitting your head against things when people start talking. I said, you don't see what I'm doing with my head right now? She's like, you're hitting your head up against something right now, aren't you? I'm like, yeah. And I said, you know what Jan said when I started saying how many people were probably going to be at my house, right? And she's like, did she say this is a weekend to go visit her brother? And I'm like, yes. So she's like, please call Jan and tell her that I knew that's what she said. I said, oh God, yes. So I called Jan after I got off the phone with my mom, and I told her what that my mom said that she said that this is probably going to be the weekend that you go visit your brother. And she's like, yeah. But no, she'll be there, because see what Jan said. What she'll do is, because my mom comes in on that Wednesday. Jan said, look, I'll just leave that Saturday. I'll come back on Sunday or Monday, and your mom will still be there. She's like, you know, the reason my wife knows her limits.
But your mom will still be there, but the extra won't.
Right, but the extra won't. And that, you know what? And to think about it, it might not be a terrible idea, Bob. You know, it could possibly save mom, because see, Jan can be extra too, and I don't need extra, because see, I only have so much Thorazine.
Yeah, you don't want to get that shit off the streets.
Right, you know, there's only so much Thorazine to go around, and you know, so I won't be upset. I actually will not be upset if Jan is not there for the party, because like I said, if she leaves that Saturday, because like I said, my mom gets in on Wednesday, so that's Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday that she's there to spend time with my mom. She leaves Saturday, because she can only stand being around her brother for so long anyway. She leaves Saturday, she comes back Sunday, and then she still hangs out with and it's still all good. So it actually, that might.
But it took you 2 a.m. to sort this stuff out.
That part.
Yeah. Steve in New York wants to remind you that Thorazine darts can be party favors.
Ah! Yeah! You know?
I mean, there's going to be a pinata. There's going to be a pinata, right?
No, the pinata's for the Halloween. Oh, honey, I am not having possible weapons around my family. Are you kidding?
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, I was just thinking. I mean, if you're going to have a pinata, you can pin the Thorazine dart on the family member, blindfolds, and good times.
No. Nope. The pinata is for the Halloween party. We cannot have no.
Well, Scott's mind works in mysterious ways. He just sent.
Oh no! Oh God! Oh, here we go. Okay.
Family gatherings can be the ultimate stressor. Never mind the usual remedies. It's time to break out the opium suppositories.
Oh, see, only Scott. Oh, only Scott. This is why I never even knew there was such a thing as an opiate suppository. But why would there not be such a thing? That's the part that scares me, that there's such a thing as an opiate suppository.
Well, it just means you don't need a roach clip to smoke them.
Oh God.
Sorry.
Yeah, and speaking, if you had a show about the that I actually was almost hurt. I was driving when you kept talking about that, and I was just with the baby and the herpes and the circumcision. I'm like, when you were saying if an atheist couple had that done, you left out with a gay couple.
Well, yes, I mean, certainly.
And if the Moyle was it Moyle? If the Moyle
Mohel Moyle.
If the Moyle was gay, how about that?
Woo! Mm-hmm. No, no, I'm not gonna. I'm gonna wait till after the call's over before I do the next story. I'm not gonna subject you to it. But not necessarily. No, I got another one here, but it's just too much.
Well, no, I got something because there was something that I wanted to bring up. I was gonna talk about if we, but you on Monday on Moran Monday, but you and Dan which was an amazing call on Monday, by the way. Shout out to Dan on his first birthday. And it was going to be my nominee for Moran Monday. Well, it's beyond Moran Monday. It was going to be for our fucking useless piece of shit, worthless Jackie, I don't know why I can't throw white men in jail, Lacey, who finally had Ed Buck arrested, the potential serial killer of gay black men, because, rich white man. Because she has yet to, throw any white cops for killing, cops are killing unarmed black men. But at least she finally, decided, okay, well, maybe, now, 2 years later, it took her 2 years to have finally arrest this man. For, I don't know if for the Horn family members who have not heard about this man, Ed Buck was a huge Democratic donor. He used to be
Yeah, he
a
started out. He
Republican.
started out as a Republican.
And he decided he couldn't be a Republican any longer because he's gay. Motherfucker, just stay in. Wasn't there a log cabin you could have just went and moved into? Aren't there Isn't that what they do? Log cabin Republicans? Aren't those the gay Republicans or whatever the fuck? There's openly gay Republicans. Why the fuck did he have to become a Democrat to be gay? We don't want your ass, idiot. So he decided now I'm a Democrat because I'm openly gay and LGBTQ issues and advocacy and woo the motherfucking woo. But I like to watch black men in underwear and shoot them up with methamphetamine. But not only do I like to do that to black men, but I want to make sure that they're home. I have this thing about homeless black men.
Right.
And so two have died.
Less prone to talk.
Right. Now, one died in 2017. One died earlier this year. The third almost died this year, and he got away and called 911. And that's when they decided, well, gee, maybe we should arrest his ass. Now, see, here's the question. Those are the only three that we know about. See, we don't know about anybody that got away that may have OD'd when they left his place and was found dead somewhere else. That part. We don't know about other people that are dead. I mean, there's other men that are now coming forward that's saying that, they have done this, that he has done that to them. I think there's about 10 that have come forward so far. So now he's facing federal charges. But see, the problem is they were black men, gay black men. So they don't matter. That part too.
Erasable.
Yeah, indispensable. So they don't, when people don't matter, when people, it's like during the Grim Sleeper, when those, the black women during the 80s and the 90s were being killed, and they actually put on the police report NHI. No humans involved.
Jesus.
Yeah, that was the term, Bob. No humans involved. So that's how they look at us. So it's like, like I think you and Dan were talking about this on Monday about when they see us.
Right. Yep.
It took when that title, I don't know when it hit me. That's what that title meant. When they see us. Because for the majority of the people in this country, they don't see us as human. They don't see black people as human. And especially black queer people, black trans people. They don't see us as human. They don't see gay black people as human. They didn't see those young black boys that they threw in jail and damn near erased their lives as human because they don't consider us human. Those women that man killed and went undetected not for years, for decades, went on a killing spree for decades because he was just killing black women. It didn't matter. When they see us. They said that meant that, I can't think of his name. They over the course of those years that he was only convicted for, I forget, like 10 women, I forget, but I think they think he's responsible for over 100 women. Jesus. In the 80s. That part. But again, no humans involved, Bob. So when you don't, so when people don't matter, it's just, so what? Part.
Well, it's the larger problem of the poor not having any lobbyists.
We don't have any lobbyists. We don't have people. We don't have the $1 million lobbyists and stuff like that. So they don't. So and it goes back to like what's happening in your neck of the woods with the AIC Act and all that. Hillbillies don't matter.
No. And by the way, you're getting some commentary along the way. Kitty in Boston says, regarding Tracy's family gathering, marijuana is legal in California, isn't it? Perhaps a medicated birthday cake for the family might keep things festive.
That's right. I can't smoke it because I get pee tested, but that's right.
Yeah, you just have to know which cake not to eat.
That part. Because my brother, my baby brother is. This boy. This man has traveled across the ocean and has never been detected. I don't know how that boy's gone to Japan, all over the country, and has never been detected. So he is the pro. I tip my hat to him. I'm like, wow. I don't know how people do it, but yeah. So tips to you. Medical marijuana, it is legal. You don't even need it. The only thing you need in California now is a driver's license, and you can get weed. Isn't that cool, though? For those of you who want to come visit California. The only stupid thing is, that's another thing. The stupid thing is that even though it's legal here, I still can't smoke it because DEA.
Right.
Fuckers. Because it's still, it's because it's still illegal federal. That is just the stupidest shit. And the people who sell it, they still can't take their money to the bank. God, it's just some backwards bullshit. I love this country. Oh, speaking of backwards bullshit, did you watch that press conferences? That's why I was calling you. And
that's why I began the program the way I did. However, and
what was that rambling bullshit?
I don't know. We need to translate this into Latin or something so it'll sound all official and shit. But however crazy yesterday was, today will be crazier. However crazy today is, tomorrow will be crazier. We are climbing Mount Crazy all the way to January the 20th, 2021, or January the 20th, 2025, if we don't get our shit together.
Bob, what the entire fuck was he talking about?
Who knows? I mean,
because I was just like, because I came home. Okay, so like I said, I got up this morning at 2:00. I woke up at 2:00. Not just because there's that wake up that you can wake up and go back to sleep. Wake up.
Oh yeah.
But I could not. I got up, went to the. You get up, because you got to go to the bathroom, and then you lay back down, and you go right back to sleep. No, that shit wasn't happening. So I was up. So I started piddling around the house doing stuff. Then I finally got up, showered, got dressed, went to the gym. Blah 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 blah. Did my school run, ran errands, went to get a new pair, because I think I told you that I got a new pair of running shoes, but then I tried to work out, but I realized that I needed instead of actual running shoes, I needed cross trainers. Long story short, I finally got home just to close my eyes for a little while to take a nap, and I was like, ugh. So I woke up to, guess what, to the sound of that press conference. And I'm like, that's what I woke up to. And it woke me up into a shock. It was like, and I woke up, and I didn't yell at Jan, because typically when he comes on, she mutes the TV until he goes off. And I'm like, what the fuck? What? I didn't yell, but I'm like, baby, why is this not on mute? Why? I was really upset. She's like, baby, I'm sorry, I forgot, because she was engrossed in her work, and I'm like, and so when I called you, I was in the car on my way to pick up Penny to take her home, and I'm like, oh, I knew you were getting ready for the show, but I just needed to vent, and I was praying that you answered the phone, but I knew you probably wouldn't. But I was just
I'm sorry. It was actually sitting in a different room. I sometimes leave my phone sitting in one room, and because you got to go and you got to do something. And I was in the studio, and it was in the bedroom. And I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. It's okay. No, baby, it's okay. Like I say, it is not your job to talk me down from the ledge, but you know. I needed that 5 minutes, but I was fine. But I did something terribly. I did something bad though. Something that I haven't done in a long time.
Was there cake involved or ice cream?
Cake.
See, I knew.
You know me. How long have we been friends now?
Yeah, I know.
Robert.
I get it.
There was cake. There was cake involved. I mean, I don't typically stress, and there was stress, and there was cake. And see, also because and also because I'm tired. So, and I almost talked myself out of not doing, because today is Wednesday and it's swim class, and I wasn't going to take my swim lessons because Jan's like, honey, you're tired. Are you going to go to swim lessons? And I'm like, probably not. But I got a 5-hour while I was driving, because I was seriously going to convince myself not to go to swim lessons. But even though I had the cake, I said, okay, I got the cake. But I shot a 5-hour back, and now I feel fine. I have my swim stuff, and I got my towel, so I will be taking my swim lesson. So
good.
That
I'm
part.
proud of you.
Yeah, but man, this just like, and it's so funny because that's one of the things that we talk about in Weight Watchers, about when you're tired, the poor decisions that you make when you're tired. Because if I had not been tired, I would not have thought about cake. I wouldn't have. I would have been, fuck that. I'm
right, because your body was wanting some sort of a little boost, some sort of a little palliative.
Something.
Yeah.
Something just to say, and I'm like, because this morning I was good. I ate, because I was hungry. A bitch was hungry this morning. Not hungry. It went from hungry to hungry.
You were on your way to hangry.
I was teetering on hangry. So, but so I had scrambled eggs and fruit. But I wasn't hangry enough to do hash browns, because me and potatoes. Because potatoes and ketchup. So I was proud of myself. I didn't do potatoes. I did have sourdough toast though, because so it's like, okay, you're gonna have one or the other. This is my bargaining. It's like, okay, you could either have the hash brown or the sourdough toast.
See, give me this is my little personal hell. The scrambled eggs with dillweed and fold in a little bit of cream cheese. And let the cream cheese melt as the eggs finish, and then have that with the sourdough toast, and butter on and of course butter on the sourdough toast.
Oh well, fuck yeah.
And
it's because
that'll that's a big old protein load and a little bit of carbs, and that'll power me for a good 4 or 5 hours.
And that's what it was. And see, another thing about this restaurant is the restaurant in Sherman Oaks called Nat. I think I told you about this place.
Yeah.
They make I got to remember the next time I go. I keep saying I'm going to do it, and I leave, and I'm like, God damn it! I meant to buy the jar of the apricot jam to send to you.
Ooh.
Because that part, apricot, and this is what I do. Because like I said, because they get that big sourdough toast. Even though they give you two, I tell them only give me one piece because they give you two, and I'm like, no. Just give me. You get two pieces. I'm like, no, one piece. Just give me one because I'll eat both pieces. They give you that huge sourdough toast, so I have them butter the sourdough toast and grill it. Like grilled cheese sandwich.
Ooh.
Yes,
and you just got the prayer meeting Wednesday equivalent of an amen from the congregation. Jack in Shreveport just sent an email with no text, just a subject line. Damn, diner hash browns with ketchup.
Yes, Lord Jesus, yes, diner hash browns with ketchup. That's
now, see, I got to tell you. Monday we had to take our daughter to the doctor because she was going to have her eyes dilated and all that stuff, so she couldn't drive. And I don't get to do as near as much for her as I'd like to. So I told Agnes we're going to stay a little bit longer, and we'll get home in time for airtime. But my grandkids had never had a crab cake.
Oh.
So I got my can of crab meat, and I went back in the kitchen and I minced up some. I minced up an orange bell pepper real fine, and then I minced up a jalapeno real fine, and I minced up a serrano real fine, minced up some green onion, and some celery, real fine. So it'll cook. Because the crab cake's not on there that long, and you don't want them all crispy and raw. And
no.
The breadcrumbs, the mayonnaise, and the eggs.
Mayonnaise.
I'm sorry,
it
just glues them together.
You have to. Yeah, I know.
And they were perfect. And I pan fried them in a little bit of that Kerrygold butter.
Oh yes.
And just flour coated them on either side, so you got that golden crispy crust, and then it gives way to the warm and rich wonderfulness that is a crab cake. And there was enough there for probably 2 meals. I checked in with and I just fried up enough for my daughter and the 3 kids, and there was a ton left. And
so you use canned crab meat?
Yeah, I mean that's all I can do.
What brand do you use?
It's Chicken of the Sea.
Because you know what, I have never made crab cakes.
Oh, it works real well. I mean, it's good. It's good crab meat. And
okay,
but I left a ton of it in the fridge, and we checked in with her late toward the end of the night, and she's like, "Oh no, it's all gone." So that did my heart good.
Well, like yesterday when I was on the phone on the call briefly, because like I said, I was just listening to you guys talk, so I didn't really, because I didn't have anything to add to the conversation really. But Jen and I was going to make dinner last night, and it was so dang blasted hot yesterday. I was just zapped, and so we were going to there was this place called a chop shop, and they do salads by order, and we're looking at the salads, and I'm like, well, Jan, do you want salad? She's like, I want salad. So, but she couldn't make up her mind what she wanted, and Jan being Jan, and she was tap dancing on my nerves with a pair of stiletto heels, and I'm like, she's like, well, I'm really not that hungry, and I'm like, okay, and I said, okay. So then she's like, well, you know what? I'm not really that hungry. And I'm like, okay, fine. So then I said, well, because I have taken out chicken she took out chicken for me to cook. I was going to make something. I was going to actually make chicken meatball soup last night, but I did not realize it was going to be so hot yesterday. And see, I don't mind. I can eat soup 24/7. I love soup.
Yeah, I'm a soup.
And
I'm that way chicken. Too.
and that was going to be a chicken meat, and that was going to be the chicken meatballs were going to have Parmesan cheese in them, and with spinach and carrots in the soup and woo 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 woo. But Jan could be persnickety, and I'm like, I didn't want to hear her mouth. So I'm like, and so I'm like, okay, this is what. She's like, well, I said, okay, we can have salad tomorrow. And since so on Mondays and Wednesdays, because I have swim lessons, she cooks. So I said, this is what I'll do. I'll cook the chicken tonight. And then you and I, or Alex, whoever, whatever, cut up I'll cut up the salad stuff, and we do I do salad bar stuff. So I cooked the chicken, I cut it up. So she still didn't really eat dinner last night, and neither did I really. I ate some of the chicken that I cut up, but this is what she wanted strawberries, so she likes strawberries dipped in sour cream and then dredged with brown sugar. I did my strawberries with the peanut butter powder, chocolate peanut butter powder mixed with non-fat Greek yogurt with a little honey, mixed that up, and that's what I dipped my strawberries in. So I still kind of had a meal with, and so everybody was happy. Alex went to In-N-Out.
Yeah,
so
sometimes Alex just can't.
Right. No. Alex was like, well, he was coming home. He worked late last night, and he was trying to make up his mind what he wanted. He's like, well, I was going to come home and make a sandwich. Then I was going to go to Wendy's. Blah 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 blah. It was just what is how you just don't know what you want, and then you just get something, and then it's like, fuck it, I'll just go in and out. So everybody was happy. So everybody was happy. Everybody went to bed, sated, and that's all that mattered. But I just, there's just sometimes you're just hungry enough but you just need something on your stomach, but you don't need a full meal. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah.
Because then when you make a full meal, and then you eat all this food that you really didn't need, and then you're like, ugh, I did not need.
And see, that's a problem for me, because if I eat an ordinary sized meal before airtime, I'll be really slow, behind the mic. So then I'm hungry when I get off air.
And then you get off air, and it's 9:00 your time.
And it's like, this is going to be a mistake.
So how do you? And it's not like you can eat during airtime, because you'd be smacking and licking.
Yeah, right. No, the clanking of the silverware on the plate and shit like that. No, that can't happen. Oh, I was going to tell you though. You're talking about being a fan of soup. Have you tried these next generation soups that are over in the cold case? Oh yeah, they're good. Like there's a Panera brand, and depending on if you go to, because I live in a place where you wind up having to go to Walmart, and
I'm sorry.
Yeah, sometimes you just do. And they've got their own brand and it's over there in the deli section in the cold case, and they got like chicken and wild rice and chicken tortilla.
Oh, you mean like the soups that they have at the deli section at Ralph's?
Are they? Yeah, sealed in like pint containers.
Yes. Oh God, yes.
Yeah, and the baked potato soup and the broccoli
and
the cheese soup
and the broccoli cheese and the chicken noodle. Oh God, yes.
Those are those are not your grandmother's canned Campbell's soups.
As a matter of fact, when I had pneumonia this year? It started off last year. Didn't know I had pneumonia. I just thought I had the flu. Well, I thought I had a cold that turned into the flu that turned into fucking pneumonia. So I was sick for like 3 weeks. but I lived off that soup. 'Cause at the routes, most of the routes out here, you have, the salad bar, and then you have the hot soup section. They have like 3 selections of hot soup, but then they have they have, like 5 or 6 different flavors in the refrigerated section in the deli. Is that how you guys have it out there?
Yeah, but there's no hot soup section. There's no hot soup section.
Okay. Yeah, we have they have actual hot soup as well. So we have a salad bar, we have an olive bar, we have a cheese bar.
They tried the olive bar at Kroger's for about 6 months, and the hillbillies just walked by it and went, "What?" And I of course stopped and spent way too much money because I love those things, and then it was just gone.
Yeah. I mean, not all. Okay, granted, not all the. I mean, trust me, the routes in Inglewood is not going to have an olive bar. That part. The routes in South Central is not going to have an olive bar. So not even all the routes out here in the valley, not all the routes have the olive bar. Most routes do have salad bars, and most routes do have the hot soup bar. But not all of them have not all of them even have the cheese bar. There's not a lot of them have the cheese bar, which is really, the cheese bar is just, again, when you come out here, I need you to be able to spend at least 2 weeks. So, I don't know how we're going to do this, because a week, we could do it in a week, but okay, 10 days. I need you to be here at least 10 days. That part, so, I don't know how we're going to do this in 10 days. Just to go to I got a route that this one route is 2 stories. It's just stupid.
Yeah, see, that goes all the way back to my days when I was at CNN in Atlanta. There was a Kroger. We called it the Disco Kroger's because it was over off Piedmont Road in a shopping center, and next to it was this big nightclub disco. They would even have bands with horn sections in them called the Limelight. But that Kroger, and this was 1987, had a sushi bar in it.
Yes, we have Kroger's routes with sushi bars.
Yeah, well, but now that 1987, that's when I got.
Yeah, that was huge.
That was my initiation into sushi at Kroger's.
Yeah, no. See, it's just, it's so funny. I find myself, seriously, Bob, when I'm certain places, or I'm in certain neighborhoods, even if I'm not eating there, or I read articles or something about a restaurant, and I think, oh my God, I can't wait until Bob comes here, because, and I'm sorry, Rick, you'll have,
No, I want that.
Bob is mine.
I want that ass kicking Mexican that you're talking about. I want to make the road trip. I want to make the road trip down for a big, tall, cold glass of pulque somewhere down around San Diego. I got a list, and if I can, if I ever get back to San Francisco, I'm happily going to stand in line outside Swan's Oyster Depot again, because that was the most amazing seafood experience I'd ever had in my life.
See, like I said, we have to. There's so much to do.
Oh yeah, and that particular place, Jesus, it opened up. I think it opened up like 2 or 3 years after the great San Francisco earthquake of 1901 ever. And it's been open continuously ever since. And the line forms.
Oh, damn.
And it's really neat. They're nice people and everything. As you get closer and closer to the door, just to make sure that you don't lose hope, they'll bring you out an ice-cold, very, very terribly fresh draft of Anchor Steam.
Of what?
Anchor Steam beer. You know, the
Oh, no, you don't. You know me. I don't know beer.
I know. But, you know, it's you know, for a hillbilly like me, standing on the mean streets of San Francisco, drinking an ice cold pint of Anchor Steam, waiting to get in and tie into a big old plate of raw oysters and maybe some sea urchin roe and stuff like that. Yeah.
That part. That might be on your own, and I have to find somewhere to eat because I'm not an oyster fan. But I love you enough to go with you if I'm there. So.
Oh, we'll find you something. I mean, they got nice fish too.
Yeah, okay, good. Yeah, because I can't. I don't. When I went to New Orleans, we went to Oyster Bar in New Orleans, and I did have some oysters, so I did okay. I didn't. I did some shooters, so I was fine. There's just certain things that I don't. I'm getting better. About saying I'm not going to do that. I'm as I get the older I get, I'm going to, I mean, who would have thought, when I first started talking on the show that I would ever even come anywhere near mayonnaise. And now I do. Like when I grill my burgers at home, I put mayonnaise on the bun, and I put the bun in the meat grease or whatever,
and grill it.
And I grill it. That part.
Because it's because it's exquisite.
Whatever.
Okay, we won't make you admit it.
Okay, I'm not. That part. Whatever. And yes, when I make potato salad, I do put mayonnaise in my potato salad. But whatever.
Oh, Steve from Georgia Stan just letting me know that he said, Bob, I had 24 Maryland crabs FedExed in. Steve comes from up in Maryland, and he's down in the North Georgia mountains, and every now and then he's just got to have a taste of home.
I didn't realize that Steve was from Maryland.
Yeah, he's from the greater Baltimore area.
Oh, the things that how do I know? Well, again, I can be sort of self-absorbed, so, whatever. No, just kidding. I did not know.
Oh, and Devin letting me know that the Kroger's up in Clarksburg, because almost civilization, the Kroger's up in Clarksburg still has the olive bar because Italians, or as they refer to them.
Where's Clarksburg?
Clarksburg's up in the northern part of the state, about 40 miles south of Morgantown, 45 miles south of the PA line. But they've got a huge Italian community still there. They refer to themselves as Tallybillies. And that's up in the general area where the pepperoni roll was invented.
Oh, the pepperoni rolls you were telling me about.
Yeah. It's the state snack.
I remember you. Didn't you say that you could order those and have them shipped to me?
Yes, you can. If you look up Country Club Bakery, Fairmont, West Virginia, those are the only ones worth ordering.
I remember because I think we talked about that after I had you. After I sent you those.
Yeah. Those magnificent wonders. Those those puffy, wonderful, crispy Cuban meat pies. Oh my Jesus! Yeah. This is a perfect observation. Jack in Shreveport gets a cowbell for this. Mayonnaise is the duct tape of food.
That's I hate to admit it. You know that, right?
I know.
Because how many years did I rail against mayonnaise?
Oh, look, listen, don't get me wrong. Agnes is anti-mayo, and so is Marky. And there's no changing them on it. They're just disgusted by it. If Agnes gets a chance, she will throw my mayonnaise out of the refrigerator.
That's right. This is why I know. This is why I know Agnes and I were, at one point we were joined at the hip, and somehow we were separated at birth or whatever.
I mean, I think Agnes is convinced that if a jar of mayonnaise sits out on a table for more than 15 minutes, that it turns into Ebola or something.
This is why it is my own. This is why I have to get to West Virginia to get to somehow, because I have to meet Agnes, because you're at this point, whatever about you, but it's all about Agnes.
Oh, of course it is. I acknowledge that.
You do realize that, right?
I absolutely do.
Did you show her the video of me? Did you show the pictures of me at my 5K and all that?
Yes. She's so proud she could bust.
I was like, I meant to ask you, please make sure you show that stuff to Agnes.
Oh, I did.
Because it's just, when I crossed the finish line last Saturday, even though this is my second one, and I do this, I walk 3 miles, pretty much every other day, or during the week now, now that I'm working out at the gym, I really don't have the time to do the 3 miles during the week like I used to. But on the weekends, I walk at least 2 to 3 miles, sometimes 4 on Saturdays and Sundays. But that 5K that I did on Saturday was tremendous, because that's the first group 5K that I've ever done. And the camaraderie, and you saw that video with me walking up those 2 fucking hills, that part.
Yeah.
But
the hills they didn't warn you about.
Yeah, that I got punked. They punked the bitch. Yeah, I was pissed. But they didn't tell you about the people helping me up the hill. They actually had my back and was helping me up the hill. That part. And so when I was drumming, that was after I walked up the hill. And so so when I got to the finish line, I started crying, and it was just like, damn it, I did this again. And I walked up 2 hills, and I was just like, I could not have done this back in June. Because in June of this year, I weighed 278 fucking pounds. And there's no way that I would have been able to walk up 2 hills without oxygen tank and a defibrillator waiting for me at the top.
Oh, yeah.
So it's just, it's these things that I keep, these milestones, these things that I keep doing. The fact that when I left my house this afternoon, I was dog tired, and I was doing everything that I could do to talk myself out of not going to swim class. And, even though I know she's very proud of me, but my wife does, people who love you, subconsciously, they don't even realize that they do things to sabotage you. Like, she's like, well, you don't have to go to class today because you're tired. Just come home after dropping off Penny. And I almost said, and I was like, I probably will. I'm tired, And I know she's not trying to sabotage me, but people do. I don't even think I don't even really think she realizes that she was that it was sabotaging me. I'm like, I don't need anybody's help to sabotage me. I do that. I'm the queen of self-sabotage. You hear me?
Yeah, but see,
so
you're inspiring people too, though, because I got to figure out a way to make this work. We've got one of those anytime fitness places that's opened up over across the river.
Oh, I've heard of. We have a couple of those out here too.
And I'm thinking that if I could get my head right, finish the program, jump in the car, go over, get a workout in every night, and stagger what it is I'm doing. Do some weight work, and do some endurance work and things like that. I'm never going to run no 5K. It ain't going to happen.
You don't have to. You don't have to.
But I might be. But you've got me thinking that I could, and maybe talk Agnes into it, and that way we buddy system, and we just run over and we get a little workout in, and then and maybe come home and actually sleep better because we're tired.
I'm telling you, my sleep has changed. Since I started working out, Bob, let me tell you, because I had horrible amnesia. Oh, that too. insomnia. So ever since I started working out, I kid you not, when I go to bed, as soon as my head hits the pillow, I'm out. And I don't wake up until it's time for me to wake up. I don't even set my alarm anymore. I set it just out of habit, but typically I'm awake and I'm rested. I do not get up and I'm just, it's a whole different sleep pattern that I have. And I just started off with just 15 minutes of exercise a day. And then the 15 minutes it started off with the walking for 5 minutes because that's all I could do. Literally. That's all I could do. 5 turned into 10, 10 turned into 15, 15 to 20. Next thing I know, I'm walking 3 miles a day.
And doing the dance in front of the ring when you get back to the house.
Right. And then I'm like, okay, now I have more energy. So now I'm adding, strength training. So now I have a couple of sets of dumbbells. So I'm doing that. And then I do, body weight strength training, just using my own body weight for my lower body. And so, then, stretching so I do stretching and especially foam rolling. And because I know Agnes has the same issues that I have with the, medical issues, let me tell you, it hurts like a bitch. But that foam roller has made a difference with my aches and my pains from my fibromyalgia and lymphedema. Oh my God! Now, when you start doing it, she's gonna want to slap somebody. Probably. But let me tell you, namely you, just be prepared. But it has helped me, and it helps with your weight loss as well. And it helps with the aches and the pains and breaking up that muscle fiber and getting your circulation going, especially your lymphatic system. And it has made a difference in my life. Let me tell you.
Well, turning back to what we were talking about earlier, as we age, we don't sleep as well. And so you might, unless you're, it's the way your body chemistry changes. So unless your doc tells you something otherwise, it might be worth looking into some melatonin, just a low dose, but that shit works. It will put you to sleep. And I was looking at it on the shelf the other day, thinking, probably oughta.
Well, if this continues, I'm gonna get, like you said, a low dose of it and see how it goes. I'm gonna do it. Because I don't want to really. I'm gonna do it and try it.
That Ambien and stuff just scares me to death.
No, Ambien doesn't really work for me. That part.
Well, I'm just scared I'll wind up robbing a bank in my sleep or something.
Or you might say racist thing like rope.
I don't think that was the Ambien, but
No, but remember, with the people that the Ambien people said, yes, Ambien has several side effects, none of which is racism.
Right? Yes, I do. Yeah.
That was the best tweet. Because I'm not on Twitter like a lot of people, like you and and Carol Baker and stuff like that. But God damn it!
Oh, by the way, you got a note in from Todd. Don't start inspiring folks. The government will tax it. But Ron in Raleigh just said, all this food talk, it's 4 days and counting until I have one more thing you don't. Meaning me. The new Wegmans opens Sunday at 7 a.m. And then
what is that?
Wegmans is an awesome grocery chain. But Ron adds this, and yes, I have seen it. Have you seen the ads for pumpkin spice spam? When will it end?
What?
I thought it was a joke, but it's not. It's real. Pumpkin spice spam.
That's some bullshit.
That's some heinous bullshit.
That, see, it's like some people just got way too much time.
Yeah, somewhere at Hormel or whoever it is that makes Spam, somebody needs slapped.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, really. I mean, we jalapeno Spam's not bad. I mean, it's Spam, but really, we need white girl Spam.
White girl Spam. Did I tell you that I'm running another 5K on Sunday?
Yes.
Okay.
You're out of hand.
And it's only, and let me tell you, because I don't want to hear anything about you saving your points to try the pumpkin spice Spam. Don't even. No. I'm not even going to mess with it. Okay, because I have, because my favorite time of the year is fall. And
you're one of those
it's so
people.
hot that when you said that yesterday, when did you say that? Because when you were going on a rant about fall, and
it might have been Monday, I think. Yeah, it bums me out.
I think it was Monday, and I was like, well, because I live somewhere where we don't really have seasons, so when it does really, chill down or cool off, I do look forward to fall, because it's kind of like and the chance that I actually can wear a sweater. And I do like pumpkin spice latte, but because of all the sugar and shit in it, and I don't like, sugar substitutes and stuff. So what we do in Weight Watch is like you order a small pumpkin spice or whatever latte, if I really want one, because there's really nothing that I really want, but you order a small and you get it in a large, so you get the size, but without all this, you still have the sugar, but not as, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So anywho, so I haven't, like I said, I said, so I'm going to channel my inner white girl and, and toast the fall when it cools off and get a pumpkin spice latte, but it probably won't be for a while because I haven't really cared about it because, again, I don't miss that shit. I mean, I didn't even I haven't gone to like the LA County Fair in years. For one thing, it's still not expensive to go. It's still cheap to get in, but the food everything else has gotten so fucking expensive.
Oh yeah, it's a $22 artisanal corn dog, right?
That part. And it's like,
nah.
No, it's just like, when I was growing up, my mom and my stepfather, the first stepfather, the one that didn't rape me, both him and my mom both worked for LA County, right? And since it was the LA County Fair, we got in for free. And, you got discounts on everything. And, and it was fun. It was a family thing. And it was just, but it hasn't been fun in years, on top of the fact climate change has fucked it up with the heat. This past, when you are having 100 and, triple digits in September, who wants to walk around in Pomona? Pomona is hotter than Hades now. And it's like, no, it's just, plus traffic driving out to the San Gabriel Valley, and no. It's just, if I might go to the Ventura County Fair because at least Ventura is the beach community and blah, 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 blah. It's closer to the ocean. So if I'm going to go to a fair, maybe I'll go to Ventura County Fair and woo, 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 woo. But, it's just, there's things that, I remember, what is it? We only have a finite amount of time left on this earth.
Mm-hmm.
And if I'm going to spend, and on top of that, I only have a finite amount of money. So if I'm going to spend my money, again, I don't have a problem spending money, unfortunately. But if I'm going to spend my money, I want my money's worth. And I want to enjoy myself. And I don't want to be annoyed when I'm spending my money. Does that make sense? Does that not make sense?
No, it makes perfectly good sense, and that's why, that's why at the end of every program, I thank people for sharing the precious finite time of their lives engaging with this
You
little,
do
this little
say that, don't
conversation. Yeah, because it is precious, it is finite, and by the same token that I don't believe that a rainbow is proof that climate change is a goddamn Chinese hoax, I also don't believe there's pie in the sky when you die.
Dude,
Do it
now.
now. Get it now. Enjoy it
When you
now.
said that shit about the fucking rainbow, and see, remember, I'm a Christian. Now I do believe in the pie in the sky, but God damn it, I'm going to do everything that I'm not waiting until I get that pie in the sky. You hear me?
Yeah, this ain't dress rehearsal.
Thank you. Look. My mom sent me a picture of one of the members of of this woman that went to my that still goes to my church. This woman, I'll send you the picture after we get off the phone. This woman is 103 years old. I want that to be me in 50 years. This woman, she got on this red pantsuit, red shoes, and smiling like a nobody's business. You hear me? That's what I want to look like in 50 years, because that's going to be me in 50 years, because I'm 53 years old. Okay? I want to see, at one point I couldn't even imagine wanting to see 54, but the way I feel now, I want to see 103. I do, because see, I'm
there's just too much there's just too much interesting shit going on right now.
Right. I'm trying to stop living. I'm trying to start living hopeful. I'm trying to hopeful that on the first Tuesday in November of 2020 that we get that the Democrats get the answer right on what is it?
The quadrennial one question IQ test.
Thank you. That part. I'm hoping that they get the answer right in 2020. And that not only that question right, but the down ballot as well. And we clean house.
Yeah, see, I just saw a headline come across, Tracy, that says, well, you know, and I think it was in the Wall Street Journal in their opinion section, which means it's a sewer. But it was, Democrats can't get rid of Trump by impeachment, but it will cost them seats in 2020, writes Karl Rove.
You human.
And then somebody. So one of the for-profit media outlets dredged up what's his name, disco dancing David, formerly Meet the Press guy, who flushed his credibility down the toilet when he showed up at some sort of a soiree and did a rap with MC Rove.
Oh, God. Well, who was that?
Yeah, I can't. I've managed to successfully forget him. But, you know, somebody dragged him out and said, well, this is going to be a terrible thing for the Democrats because, well, it's terrible, awful, bad, terrible.
You know, here's the deal. And this is that Christian part of me coming out. Because, you know, I believe in the pie in the sky, you know, as you call it. You know, but I do believe in that. I don't believe in that, you know, that pious and that Jesus holding the lamb in the past in the manger, Jesus. I believe in the Jesus that went through the temple kicking ass and taking names with the money changers. I believe in that Jesus about who he that it was without sin, cast the first stone, Jesus. You know, that Jesus, that Matthew 25 Jesus, that Jesus, the Jesus that hung out with the lepers and all that kind of Jesus, the Jesus that if he was here would be hanging out with people like that look and act like me, Jesus, that Jesus, the brown skinned Palestinian Jesus, that's the Jesus that I follow. That Jesus.
Yeah, and he would be, and of course, this being Prayer Meeting Wednesday, he would be unrecognizable to the vast, vast seas of mayonnaise gobbling Southern Baptist white folks if he walked right in. If he walked down the middle aisle at the altar call, they'd go, "Who the hell is he?"
That part. So it's like, I can't, this is why when I hear what people do in his name, it sends a chill, the proverbial chill down my spine, and it pisses me the fuck off. Because I'm not a pious Christian. I'm not, because I'm a cussing, pussy-eating lesbian. Yeah, I said that shit.
Yes, you did. And
Yeah.
it was David Gregory, by the way.
Okay.
That's courtesy of Scott in San Diego. Yes.
Thank you, Scott. So my wife, I do not subscribe. I'm a crab eating, Collie Cotton blend wearing Christian. Okay. I be swining and dining. I got pork on my fork, and I'm still here. Guess what, Bob?
Wait a minute. I got pork on my fork. Hold on. Yeah. You earned
You
that
ain't
one.
never heard that?
No, I've heard swining and dining. Never heard the pork on my fork part.
Okay. So it's like, and I'm still here. I don't, and somehow I have not been struck dead, Bob.
No.
I got a wife. I'm still here. Somehow, I'm still here. So obviously, that Old Testament stuff, not so much.
Nah. Right. Mm-mm.
So all this stuff about this, this hateful, vengeful God that's going to strike me down because I love jazz and because, I wear a cotton poly blend, or I have milk in the same refrigerator as my meat, or because I work on Sundays or Saturdays or whatever day the Sabbath is, depending on which religion you are, or I can't with people, or because I celebrate my birthday, or because I don't, whatever the case may be. I'm tired of the bullshit. I'm tired of people using whatever excuse you may use to keep from doing the right thing, or even worse, by doing terrible things to other people. That part. Or by telling, because of your religion, you're saying that you can bring your disease-riddled little bastards to school to get my child sick. Even though my child is grown, but you know what I mean.
No, I do. Hey, but I do have some breaking news.
Uh-oh.
Okay, I mean, it's not really breaking news, but Amazon made a big announcement today. This is pop culture. This is meaningless, vacuous, shallow pop culture bullshit. They've been working on their Alexa system, and now, after the other night mentioning the fact that there are going to start being sound effects on electric cars, Amazon has announced its first celebrity Alexa voice.
No, please don't be a Kardashian.
No, you're gonna. I don't want one of those devices in my house, but this got me tempted. Samuel L. Jackson.
Bob, how did I?
It just had to be, didn't it? It just had to be.
It had to be Samuel Jackson. Did we say it at the same time?
Yes.
Did we say it at the same time?
The thing is, I'm looking at the article and you're not.
I'm not. I just guessed. Now I'm going to get one.
I guess Amazon's playing catch up because Amazon got John Legend for Google Assistant, or Google got John Legend for Google Assistant. So along comes Amazon, and they're like, no, this is going to be worth the wait. We got Samuel L. Jackson.
Ooh. Ooh.
Yeah, I know. Isn't it cool?
See, because Samuel L. Jackson, in a word, is a god.
I can hear it. Alexa, remind me to buy mayonnaise. I am sick of this motherfucking mayonnaise in this motherfucking fridge.
Get the motherfucking mayonnaise. Oh,
ooh, look at the big brain on Bob.
Speaking of motherfuckers and black men, did you hear that there's going to be, that Eddie Murphy is playing Rudy Ray Moore?
No.
There's a Netflix movie. I don't know when it's coming out. I don't know. I think it might be coming out soon. But he's going to be playing Rudy Ray Moore, a.k.a. Dolomite.
Wow.
And from what I hear, it's supposed to be amazing. Who else could play Dolomite besides? Who else?
No, that's
maybe Don Cheadle.
Yeah, okay, but no, he'll probably do a pretty good job of it.
There's only maybe three people that could have played Rudy Ray Moore: Don Cheadle, or Samuel L. Jackson, but definitely Eddie Murphy. So so Scott, if you're listening, I think we're gonna have to. I saw that it come up when I was driving on my news feed. So I don't know when it's coming out, but it's a Netflix movie because it's been a minute since Eddie Murphy's had a movie. Now, even though it's a magical, because we've had
I don't think
think
he's been living on rice and beans or anything.
No, I think he's fine financially. I think he's fine. Now, even though I can't stand those, the two movies that I can't stand, white savior movies, and what's the other one, Bob?
Noble Negroes.
Yeah, so there's three: white savior, noble Negro, and magical Negro. Because there's three. So the magical Negro now, which you can kind of. Noble Negro and Magical Negro can be kind of interchangeable. They're interchangeable, but no, because the Magical Negro, that's more the Green Mile. And what was the other one? Bagger Vance.
Bagger Vance. I knew we were getting the Bagger Vance.
Those are the Magical Negroes, and the Noble Negro is the Butler and the Lilies of the Field and Mr. Church. Because I was trying to think of that movie my friend Sarah and I were trying to think of that movie, the name of the movie, Mr. Church. I think that's the last movie that I saw that he had done. Now, even though I can't stand the Noble Negro movies, I have to admit, and it's worth a watch. If you get a chance, because I think it's still on Netflix. Scott, if you're listening, give it a watch. It's a sweet movie, and it is a Noble Negro movie, but it's worth watching. It's one of those like I said, it is a Noble Negro movie, but I enjoyed it, much to my chagrin. I mean, it's not like the Green Book or anything like that. That is like, because it doesn't touch on racism or anything like that. And look, I'm a really cool white person because I've overcome my racism kind of thing like that. Because I don't even think it really touches on racism, so that's why I get to I can deal with it. So that part. So, but I enjoyed it. Like I said, I think you and Agnes might enjoy it because, like I said, I didn't want to throw anything at the TV watching it. So yeah. Mr. Church, I think it was one of those things I accidentally saw on Netflix one day. So yeah, Mr. Church.
You'll get a kick out of this. Darlene wrote in a moment ago saying, ooh, Samuel L. Jackson, cool. Now, how about James Earl Jones? So I can see Google and Amazon and Apple getting into the
black man, the battle of the black men,
the battle of the black man bidding war voiceovers. So Amazon gets Sam Jackson, Apple counters by hiring James Earl Jones, and then Google comes back with Morgan Freeman.
Ooh. Actually, after that, who else do we have? Because that's
going to become it'll become a whole new frontier. Black men with fantastic baritone voices who make their mark and break into the business by being the voices of artificial intelligence.
See, I wonder about, can I get in on the voiceover game? Because, see, I've been told that I have a pretty cool voice, so maybe I can. Yeah,
you do. Well, that's like one of the reasons Agnes doesn't talk a whole lot is that she gets emails saying you have such a great porn voice.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. And Ron and Raleigh just said, so you've pretty much removed any Stephen King movies from your viewing list. Mr. King loves himself some magical Negroes.
Oh, yes. The Stand, Green Mile. Speaking of Mr. King, they're making I guess a sequel to The Shining.
How do you do that?
Well, it's basically about the kid growing up, the kid that grows up. So it's the kid from The Shining. What's the kid that got Ethan? What's his name?
Oh,
I can't think of his. So whatever is Dr. whatever his name. So it's the kid from The Shining as an adult. And so instead of so they have the Scatman. I guess they have, because Scatman was, why can't I think of his name? Crothers. He's definitely dead. So, but there's a black guy in it, and there's a black girl in it. So I don't know if she's going to be the magical Negro, or if it's going to be the I don't know. But there's a bald black man in it. But you're right. Stephen King does love him some magical Negroes. He does.
By the way, Ron and Raleigh points out, hey, what about Will Smith?
He doesn't have that distinctive.
I don't know. His voice is, and I know this marks me as terribly shallow, but he's got a pretty distinctive voice in the first Men in Black movie, and that one line when he jumps off the overpass and lands on the top of the double-decker bridge. I was reading the notes on it one evening, and he just stands up amongst all the tourists and says, "It just be raining black people in New York tonight." That was a total improv.
Really?
Yeah, and they went, "Yeah, we're keeping that."
It's just, when I was speaking of, New York and black people and whatnot, when I was listening to you and Dan on Monday. God, that was such a great conversation. About the current state of how they need people in New York, and if it didn't kill me for my son to leave me, I was like, I might need to talk to Dan about my son moving to New York, about working out there. If it wasn't so, where would he live and all that.
It is booming, and especially after all the shit with the hateful legislation in Georgia. Down Georgia was Yollywood because of the burgeoning film industry, and now you got people. Let's not shoot in Georgia.
But I'm wondering if they if the same is going on out here in LA. So I might have to have a conversation with Dan, and because my son he's a wonderful young man. He's amazing because, you know, he's my son. How else can he not be amazing? But he's just, he just needs direction, you know? And he loves movies. He's again, my son. And, you know, he just needs direction and something that piques his interest.
Purpose and focus. And yeah.
Purpose and focus. So,
and by the way, the character in The Shining was Danny.
Okay.
The son was Danny.
Yeah. So it's what was that movie? Moulin Rouge. What was the guy that played in Moulin Rouge? What's his name? Why can't I think of his name?
Oh, how I hated that movie.
I know you hated the movie, but the lead character. Why can't I think of his name?
Oh, played young Obi-Wan.
Yes, that guy.
Ewan McGregor. Ewan McGregor.
Thank you.
See, you made me remember the movie.
I'm sorry. That's the only thing I could. He fit in a shit ton of movies, but I couldn't think of anything but Boomer. And okay, you know, I'm sorry, and I know you hated the movie, but I liked it. I'm sorry.
That's okay. That's okay. I'll find some way of suppressing that synapse.
I know.
Oh no! I hope the hell Ron is joking. A Shining sequel. How about, Ron writes, they're doing a Hogan's Heroes reboot. Please tell me no. See. And now Ron's going to write back with the link to they're doing, and it's going to be real, and I'm going to be, you know, I thought making Nazi concentration camp comedies was a little sketchy in the 1960s. By the waning years of the second decade of the 21st century, who thought that was a good idea?
Well, this is one of my
issues.
See here, like when you got and back to see, I'm channeling. I don't know. I'm channeling. Maybe it's kismet that I'm talking about you and Dan so much, because see, that's one of the things that Dan and you guys, you and Dan were talking about with Dan about diversity and stuff in television and movies, about how, you know, it seemed like there's, you know, hopefully more diversity, but then it shows right here that there isn't, because with all the stories that could be on television right now about, you know, Asian families, Black families, trans families, whatever, you know, all these other stories that we could be talking about.
Yeah, because the Hillbillies already had their show.
Right. And you're going to bring up Nazi concentration camps in 2020? Seriously? What?
Mm-mm. Yeah, you and I are in the same place.
Well,
hey, before we wind all of this up, I feel like we've done a very good job of avoiding the madness today. I mean, we did the religious stuff, and I've still got a completely disgusting prayer meeting Wednesday story that I refuse to subject you to after putting you through the whole anti-vaxxer thing and the.
No. I mean, because like I said, I'm awake. I'm good.
this may prove to be one of those defining moments. The day that Donald Trump threw his vice president under the bus.
Ooh, he threw my pencil neck geek under the bus?
Yes. And see, and this little puzzle piece fits together with another puzzle piece, because there's been a lot of speculation out there that even though a while back someone asked Nitwit Nero directly, will Mike Pence be on the ticket in 2020? And oh, definitely. Then there started being the little rumblings that, maybe not. Because, among other things, they're thinking maybe they'd like to have Nikki Haley on the ticket. You know, so that she could be a token brown woman.
That's why I forget that she's, you know,
South Asian.
That part.
And so last night I mentioned that.
What? Not Bobby Jindal?
No. Piyush's race has run. Nimrata is in the ascendant because she, among other things, got out of her administration job before too much slime could stick to her. But see, yesterday he was talking about, or Pence was talking about how, he took meetings with Zelensky and he told him this and he told him that. So in that,
wait, who's Zelensky? Wait,
President of Ukraine.
Okay, thank you.
The guy that all of this swirls around, the guy that Trump was trying to shake down.
And we need to swirl around the toilet.
And we need to stop talking about this whole thing with such big, complex $15 words, because Donald Trump is not a big, complex $15 guy. He's a cheap little pissant, penny ante grifter with a string of cheap ass golf courses and tacky hotels that they palm off on a credulous public who thinks they're going somewhere real swanky and high class, but it's just tacky. So we need to start talking, and so when we talk about the Ukraine thing, we need to understand it for what. Don't use the word extortion. A whole bunch of America doesn't understand the word extortion. Bribery, like I've said, is actually used in the Constitution as a ground for impeachment. So bribery can take in the philosophical real estate that is encompassed by extortion. But the best word to use is shakedown. He was trying to shake down the president of Ukraine, and Mike Pence did too, on orders from the boss. And so today you get this.
And the Democrats did this hoax during the United Nations week. It was perfect, because this way it takes away from these tremendous achievements that we're taking care of doing, that we're involved in New York City at the United Nations. So that was all planned, like everything else. It was all planned. And the witch hunt continues, but they're getting hit hard on this witch hunt, because when they look at the information, it's a joke. Impeachment for that? When you have a wonderful meeting or you have a wonderful phone conversation? I think you should ask. We actually, that was the second conversation. I think you should ask for the first conversation also. I can't believe they haven't, although I heard there's a rumor out they want the first conversation. It was beautiful. It was just a perfect conversation. But I think you should do that. I think you should do. And I think you should ask for VP Pence's conversation, because he had a couple of conversations also. I could save you a lot of time. They were all perfect. Nothing was mentioned of any import other than congratulations. But the word is that they're going to ask for the first phone conversation. You can have it anytime you need it. And also Mike Pence's conversations, which were, I think, one or two of them. They were perfect. They were all perfect. It's very sad what the Democrats are doing to this country. They're dividing. They're belittling. They're demeaning our country. So many leaders came up to me today and they said, "Sir, what you go through, no president has ever gone through. And it's so bad for your country." People laugh at the stupidity of what they've asked for. And here we could do asylum. We could do all of these different things so easily. We could do asylum quickly. We could do loopholes, get rid of them.
Now,
wait. See, remember when I said earlier how I needed to talk to you? That's what I woke up to. That's what woke me up this afternoon. No.
Yeah, that's where you. Hey, Pence. How are the universal joints on that bus looking down there?
Yeah.
How those tie rod ends looking? Because you're under the bus.
How are those radial? What is a radial tire?
Yeah.
How are those anti-lock brakes working?
Yeah. Are the calipers in good shape? How do the brake lines look down there?
Because how many times did he mention his name? Was that 3 or 4 times?
Yeah, and the other part was anytime he says, so many people came up to me and they said, sir. Any sentence, any story that begins with "they said, sir," is immediately followed
That's a lie.
by a lie. It's a lie.
It's a lie. You're a liar. Liar, liar. Pants on motherfucking fire. You're a liar. You're such a liar. Liar. Wait. You know what's coming to mind? The Princess Bride, Carol Kane. Liar! I see Carol Kane screaming at Billy Crystal. Liar!
Yeah, and the fact that that somebody in some studio is thinking that there needs to be a Princess Bride remake, that person needs whipped too.
Just if somebody even Rob Reiner's still alive, right? So he can snatch somebody bald headed if they come and say, be like, bitch, please.
Oh, and we got another song we can use with Trump too.
What?
Can you name that song?
Oh God! Oh, I know the song. I was just
okay,
lies.
Yeah, there we go. Thompson Twins.
Yeah.
Stolen from Japan, collected from around the world. Catch you if they
can. And I am upset with you that you didn't know. We the people, in order to form a
No,
person,
sorry, I never committed that.
Establish justice and domestic tranquility. Provide for
Yeah, you and Dan need to do a duet.
I mean, that's the only reason why I know to say and establish this Constitution for the United States of and that is how many years old? Let's see, I'm 53.
Oh God.
That's over 40 some odd, over, let's see, 45 years old at least. Bob, I have Schoolhouse Rock on DVD.
Ooh, you've got them all.
I found that shit on at Target one day, and I snatched it off the shelf. Yes, I did. I have all of the Schoolhouse Rocks. And they had Schoolhouse Rock, they had Multiplication Rock, they had Grammar Rock, what is it? Oh God. Lolly, get your, oh my God. That's how I
Lolly, get your adverbs here. Conjunction, junction.
Lolly, get your adverbs here. Quickly, get your adverbs. Oh my God. That's when we used to educate our children, Bob.
And we used
remember that?
And we used the television to do it.
And we use TV to do it. So I know we have to go, but this thing, you know, we talked a lot of foolishness, but about the foolishness, and we talked about the serious stuff, but at least we talked about fun stuff too. And this is why your show is so important, because I think this is, we talk each other off the ledge, and not just you and I, but I know we talk the people who listen to the show live, the people who listen to it,
right. And that's the challenge of the program to a certain extent, Tracy. And I'm always aware of it, that on any given evening, everything's been covered. By the time 6 o'clock Eastern rolls around for me, everything's been covered. So you either got to find a new angle, or you got to find something else, because it's not like there's going to be a paucity of people talking about this Ukraine stuff. And it's not to say that I'm passionately interested in it, but right now, maybe part of my job is to point out the fact that what we're all consuming on the televideo screen is mostly speculation at this point.
Mm-hmm. But right now, the most important thing about our conversation to me right now is the fact that Samuel L. Jackson is going to be the voice of Alexa.
Never wanted one before.
Never cared to have one before, but now,
and I mean, if an artificial intelligence is going to listen to my every waking word, then it might just be an artificial intelligence that's influenced by the voice of Samuel L. Jackson.
That part, because I want him to say, "Bitch, you run a motherfucking milk. Come on, come on. Who doesn't need that in their lives, Bob? I didn't know I needed.
We need some motherfucking coffee from the motherfucking store."
Bob,
no, wait, no, you need to order some motherfucking coffee from motherfucking Amazon.
Right, because see, Jan orders now. She orders her Starbucks from Jan. You need to order some motherfucking Starbucks from motherfucking Amazon. Come on.
And there we are.
And that's how we're gonna end the goddamn motherfucking. So Bob, that's how we're gonna end the motherfucking program.
That's how we are. Yes, we are. Tracy, you have a wonderful evening. You go swimming.
I got 40 minutes, so I am good. So love you so much.
Oh, I love you to pieces, as does Agnes.
Give Agnes a hug and a kiss for me, and we will talk again when we talk again.
Amen. Hear, hear.
Amen. Hear, hear. Bye.
Bye now. And all God's children said amen on prayer meeting Wednesday. And so we're out the door. I come back to what I've said already at least 2 times. However crazy yesterday was, today was crazier. And however crazy today was, tomorrow is going to be crazier still. And it is just a straight upward, no dips, none of that EKG looking shit. It's just a straight upward slope of crazy all the way to either January 20th, 2021 or January 20th, 2025. And it is entirely up to us which date it is. Got to get our shit together. Got to get focused. Eyes on the prize. While Nitwit Nero has his eyes on the fries. So thanks, everybody. Thanks for all you do to keep the program on the air. Thanks to all our subscribers and everybody who contributes throughout the course of every month. Thank you to all of you who share your precious finite time engaging in this little long-running conversation. Thanks to our all-volunteer staff. Thanks to Steve from Georgia Stan in the chat room this evening. Thank you to our news ninjas. Thank you, Brother Deacon Asa, headon.live. Thank you, John Fox in Australia. Thank you, Ben Birch, whiterosesociety.org. Thanks to the hardest working, bravest people I know, the men and women of Coal River Mountain Watch, crmw.net, celebrating 20 years at the forefront of the struggle for human rights and environmental justice in Appalachia. And always, 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 Gina, it's all for you. Later, y'all.